So I'm very happy to be here, and a bit scared also, because it's going to be about 50 minutes, 1 hour of only live demo in the editor, and I will do a music video live. So this is a reboot from a session that I did last year at Unite Los Angeles. No, Austin, sorry. Los Angeles is this year. And I was making a music video in about 34 minutes. So the reason to reboot it is to show how HDRP is bringing a lot of things on the table and to show all the features which arrived in the meantime. So I would have liked the normal way that you would do the same as I will do now would just be to go on the Unity website, grab the last version, like above 2018, then open your project here, and choose the template HDRP, and then it will bring with HDRP, with the HDRP plugin, it will bring a lot of packages from our new package manager, and maybe grab a few extra packages like Cinemachine or ProBuilder. But because it's a demo and I wanted to show you all the latest stuff that we did, I actually will be working on the beta version from last week, so which is a bit silly, so if it crashes, it's okay. And with the actual branch of the render pipeline, of the HD render pipeline, which is available on GitHub. So you can do the same. It's all public. There is a documentation explaining how to get HDRP running from the source code directly. And then I just brought into this project the packages manually, post-processing, ProBuilder, Cinemachine, TextMesh Pro. So okay, let's go. We don't have much time. So I love Michel Gondry and many other videographers. So if you expect this kind of quality, you will be disappointed. But it's more of an excuse to show all the process from going to an empty scene in Unity until having an MP4 at the end of this session, which is a music video doing the animation, the lighting, the layout, the environment design, the post, the VFX, and I will even make the audio, like the soundtrack of this live. And I'm not so much of an artist, so just the only reference that the only good idea I had, I think, is creative idea is, I really love this kind of miniature world, you know, if you go on Twitter, like voxel art. So the idea of this video is to play with the scale, having seeing somebody and then you realize that he's big, and then going back to somebody who is smaller, and then going back and finding out that all of this is actually a miniature. So that's the idea of the entire video. And I've been inspired by these things. Battlescar is an amazing VR project where they play a lot on the scales. And I did a fantastic storyboard on the plane the other day with all my talents of drawer. And this is going to be my story. So we will have one character, then we will zoom back, going down, catching up Adam, which is walking. I think I will skip this one. Then he starts dancing. We have a dirty camera passing next to Adam dancing, and we finish up in the sky looking at the scene, right? Okay, so let's do it. Woo. I really hope you're with me today, because I need help, mental help. Okay, so let's see. So usually I'm not a modeler, so usually I always start my talks with one of these objects, like a cube, a sphere, a capsule, or a plane. But there was this great stuff that was announced in February that we acquired ProBuilder, so I can finally be a modeler. And so the idea here is just instead of having a plane, I just wanted to have kind of a trail where the scene will sit upon. So it's pretty easy. Just create this shape, like a cube of 20 by 20 meters, and it's going to be my playground. Height is 2. I built the cube. It's cool. And now I will just extrude the top plane so that I can create my trail. So I just take the scaling tool. I select the top plane. I extract it. I extrude it by holding Shift. Okay, I'm shaking. Sorry. Okay, like this. Okay, and then I will just again shift and move, and it's extruded, and I'm the best modeler in the world. Okay, that's good. So let's put a bit of lighting. So in HDRP, if you use Unity now, this lighting window, most of it is not used here for the environment. It's actually all takes place into the scene. So if you just want to set up your skybox or your shadows or anything global, you can directly do this from the scene. So you see here, I just added this, and you have all of these things which look like a bit the post-processing stack that you've seen. And it's set up my shadows, my visual environment, my procedural sky, and my fog. Okay, so then also my problem was each time I start something, I always keep like a white material. But now there's something also pretty cool. I will show you. So I will use this material here that I used. I took this material from the photogrammetry demo called Fontainebleau, which we released a few months ago. And if you take this material called Area 02, and you put it there, actually, yeah, I would just do something first, because what I want to do is do painting, vertex color painting on the terrain, so that I will be able to color the vertices so that I can have different materials and I can actually paint my ground. So to do this, the problem with this face here is that it's only like 2 triangles, and I won't be able to do vertex painting. So again, I will use ProBuilder, and I will split it in 2, split it in 4, split it in 6, so on. Okay, so now I have many faces, and I can actually start to do painting. So I bring this material on top, and if we look at this material here, so in HD Render Pipeline, we used to have the standard shader before. In HD Render Pipeline, we have a few standard shaders, which are super uber shaders. And this one is a layer lit. And if we look at what it is a few materials that you bring together to be layered on top of each other. So the first layer, if we look here, it's sand. The second layer is kind of grass, like leaves. And the third layer is the metals that we see here. So the idea is now to paint on top of it the different layers. So I just close ProBuilder, don't need it. And for this, to do terrain painting, there is a terrain painting feature in ProBuilder. But we also have the same company who joined us, made also Polybrush. And Polybrush is this terrain painting, deformation, and scattering tool, which is in experimental now. And what I do is I would just start painting on it, right? So I have metal everywhere, and I just paint the ground. Okay, so I have the 2 layers, and now I will start painting a trail in the middle. So the idea here is in my scene, the ground will kind of represent like the path of my character and where things are happening. So I will have a character at the back, if you remember, here. And then we have a kind of track. And then we have the place where the character will be dancing in front, right? It's okay. And then, so that we don't see too much the seams, I will start painting some grass on top of it. This is basically like the method we used for Adam. Okay, so just a bit of grass. Okay. So, okay, I'm done with my the bottom of my scene. And if I go down, yeah, it's pretty okay. Now, the next thing I'm going to bring are some assets. Again, we've made a lot of work on photogrammetry last year, and on the Fontainebleau demo, and both also on the Book of the Dead demo, we have released many assets that you can reuse. And the beauty of photogrammetry and physical-based rendering is that you can bring things together which come from different sources, but it's still working. So I will bring some rocks from the Fontainebleau demo. So this one here, you see it's pretty cool. Okay, and I just rotate it, and I place it there. Right. And again, there is something super nice here. Whoops, sorry. I just moved one LOD. Again. Yeah, if you move a rock, move all the LODs with you. Okay, here. So there is something, again, pretty nice about it. So when you do photogrammetry, usually the result of the photogrammetry doesn't give all the details, whatever the resolution of the textures. And also, even if you would put super high definition images, probably the resolution wouldn't match the one on which is sitting next to it. So it's, again, very useful to have layering on this. So let's look at how it's made, this one. It's, again, a layer lit shader, as you can see here. And we will look at this. And again, there is a layer which is the result of the photogrammetry, kind of low res. There is a kind of high definition texture so that you can give the resolution that you need. There is a moss which is on top, and so on and so on. And so you have this kind of very nice rock where you could actually replace the ground texture with the sand texture if you need to put it on sand, for example. And the second thing, which is pretty nice, is the fact that the layer which sits on the bottom of the rock is actually not projected across according to the UVs, but actually projected. It's called planar projection, so it's projected against the world. And the advantage of this is I can move it around, and it will always match the ground. You see? So I just duplicate this guy. No, I just duplicated the LOD again, up. And there, it's moving. And you see that it's totally adapting to the other side. Okay, it's pretty good. Okay, so you have a kind of seamless integration of the rock to the ground. Okay, it's pretty good. Let's bring some trees. Again, I took some trees from the photogrammetry demo. So I will bring this one in, let's say here, and then bring another one here. And again, it shows some pretty cool things which are off the shelf. So let's turn off the light a bit to see it. So I will just put the procedural sky to 0. We're in the dark now. And I will put the directional light. I turn this off. Okay, now we are totally in the dark. I love this. Okay, so now let's put a light here. Okay. I will put a light here. And one of the things also which really changed with HDRP is the fact that before we had values for the light which were between 0 and 1, which doesn't mean much except that maybe 1 is a lot and 0 is not. And here you see that in HDRP, the intensity is in lumens, and for the sky it's in lux, which means that we have true physical-based lighting. And the nice thing that I want to show you is this. You see, we have only one light, which is lighting the leaves from the back. And if we look at these leaves here, it's again the standard lit shader from HDRP. And if we look there, we see that to have translucency working, or transmission, depending on how you want to call it, you just need to select your material type to translucent, and then you choose your diffusion profile so that the light diffuses inside. Right? If I move a second light on the back, here, you see that the look of the leaves, let's put the camera here, you see that the look of the leaf is different when it's lit directly or when it's lit through translucency. Right? Okay. So, I'm pretty done with my environment. It's been about maybe 8 minutes of talk. So we can move to the next step, which is starting to actually tell the story. So actually, I'm not totally done because the lighting is pretty poor. So I will take my hero character, which is Adam, which I took from the asset store. Okay, here. Right, and I know that I want him to finish kind of around here, right? And when you do lighting, usually, a lighter will bring like a rim light, a key light, and a fill light. So I could push lights around, but usually the way you light according to a character. So for example here, I want to light Adam with this kind of rig. So our lighting artist in the Paris office where I work, he made this little code just to help him because he was just fed up of moving the lights and not being able to move it around. And it's called Cine Light. And it's pretty nice. So it's a rig. And I will just drop it here. You have the center of it. And I will move it around. And what you see is like this single object is already placing all the lights, the rim lights, the key light, and the fill light. And then almost instantaneously, you have a pretty good lighting. So let's just dive into this one. Let's put the camera here. So if I want to change a bit the rim light, I just go on the rim light, and you have this UI which is more dedicated to this kind of rig lighting. So I can just rotate it around, and what I'm looking at is this, to find the right highlight on the back of the character, which will be interesting. So I can change the yo, and it's like, oh, it's pretty good. Okay, yeah, I like this one. I can move the key light. So this one, the goal is that I have this specular highlight on his eyes. If I turn it off, it kind of disappears. And then I have the fill light, which here probably is lost inside of the wall. So I will just pitch it, rotate it, and then maybe put it a bit blue. That's a lighter trick. Okay. So now I have a bit of a better lighting, and I know that in this place I will have a good lighting when the character arrives at this place. Okay. Now I will bring my second hero character, which is the cult leader from Adam episode 3, from Oates. And we also released the assets about a few months ago, so you can take the character, the hero character, and play around with it. So here it is. Okay, this guy. And as I was saying, I wanted to play on the size. So I will put him back here. Okay, we have a new modifier here. I don't know if you noticed that, but where you can modify the scale and the position. It's pretty useful for this kind of task. So I would just scale it and translate it. And if you remember my storyboard, I wanted him to, like when I really like this when you have a camera and it goes back and it goes through the leaf. So I will be able to directly kind of scale it so that these things happen. That should be all right. Okay. Maybe I put it down a bit and I scale it up. And again, I will use the same kind of technique for the lighting. So I have my light rig again. So I made like two kind of prefab for that because like I wanted, because it's a scale one, I just put the distance by default a bit further away, and then whoops, let's go there. Okay, and here it is. So then I will start working on my lighting at this position. So the rim light here is probably not high enough. Where is it? Oh, where is it? Oh no, I'm changing the first one. Up, the big one is here. So, okay. So rim light here. I will just move it so that I have this nice specular highlight. Maybe I put a bigger spot angle. Maybe I make it a bit stronger. Yeah, that's good. The key light probably is also lost somewhere in the trees. I will just put a bigger spot angle. And again, my goal is to have a nice specular highlight in his eyes. Okay, I have it here. And then the fill light, I will move it around. And that's something that I really like because I used to, like, by accident, I found out that actually having my light through the trees makes something interesting. So I will keep it this way. Okay, like this. Yeah. And then, again, the blue trick. Having some kind of blue on there. Also, in terms of lenses here, like you know that it's a very wide angle, which is really not flattering for the actor. So usually the magic number is 28 for the people who want to remember it. Okay, so I have my guy here. I think it's just a bit too dark on one side. So let's move a bit the fill light, make it a bit stronger. Yeah, okay, we can see both these eyes now. Okay, so I'm good with the setup. One thing to notice here also is the subsurface scattering is also all built in HDRP, so you don't need to use anything else. And yes, so let's go to the actual story now. So animation. I will just put it there. So the idea is let's put a wide angle. Okay. The idea here is to, if you remember the storyboard, is to have the character Adam walking, then he stops, and then he starts dancing in the middle. So Adam in the package is actually, we use the rig that we had. We imported it as a humanoid rig, so which means that the animations from Adam could be matched on top, or like could be retargeted to any other humanoid rig, and I can use any retargeted animation on top of Adam. So I will be able to mix and match animations which are coming from different sources. So, and to do that, to do the sequencing, I will use a timeline, of course. So, let's go to Unite Berlin. And I will save my scene in case it crashes. And I will just create a timeline. So create timeline, and it's going to be my main sequence. Okay, I just drag this on my scene, and then here I am. I have my sequence, and I will drag my hero guy on the track. So I will put an animation track. And we see that it disappeared because by default it's going to be on 0, and my world is not 0 right now. And I will start using some animation clip. So first I will use the animation clip from the one that we had captured in the movie. And if we look where Adam is actually pretty far away, because it's like the animation is at 0. But it's okay. You just select your clip and move Adam back to where it should be. Where is it? Okay, it's here. Okay. And let's move it to the ground. We had the kind of root motion marker so that we can check that it's good. Okay. It's pretty good. Okay, I will hide this root motion marker now so that we don't have this in the final video. Okay, it's good. And now we have Adam walking. And because it's a looped animation, I will just scale it so that until he walks in the place that I found where the lighting rig is, which is about here, right? Then he will stop here. So I stop here. And then I will use the idle animation from that we have in the standard assets of Unity, which is used for the default character controller. And as we can see here, probably is idling somewhere there because it's on 0. But if you right-click, you can automatically match the offset of this animation compared to where the last one stopped. So I move it here, and now it's moving there and stopping, right? It's not perfect, but so it goes from animation to another. What we can do is just blend the two of them, and we'll just go there and blend. And if we really want to be a bit picky, we see that the problem of sliding here is because the new animation is a bit too much to the right. So again, I will select this animation and just move it a bit to the other side, and then we have a pretty good matching, which is okay for now. Okay, so animation of the main character is done. We are 20 minutes into the talk, and we have the lighting, we have the environment, we have part of the animation, right? So now let's go to the interesting part, to the camera shots. So I have a few shots to do, and if I start to keyframe it, it's going to be very hard because I need to go back on the top and then go down, catching up Adam at the right time. You know, it's going to be a bit tricky, and if I change anything, I will have to redo my keyframing. So I will use a Cinemachine for this. So I just drag like the camera on the timeline, and I create a Cinemachine track. So I will create a cinemation shot here. So my first shot, let's remember again, it's this one, where I'm close to the main character. So I create a virtual camera, which will represent where Cinemachine will be the director, and it will be telling this virtual camera, can you film now the way I want? So I would just move on the scene and say that I want to go around, let's say around here, right? And I would just align with Control-Shift-F with that. Again, I would change my focal so that it's a bit better, and I would just go back a bit, right? Okay, pretty good. So I have my first shot. It's pretty, there's a new stuff which is really nice also. We have an extension of Cinemachine which is also built in called Storyboard. And I actually took my drawings and I can put them on top of it. So I can just drag the first image that I was thinking about. Okay, oops. And if we do this, we can see that, okay, I'm very true to my drawing. And yeah, and you can also fade it out. It's pretty good. So I'm good with the first shot. So it's going to be here. And now I will do a second shot. So my second shot, if I look again, I will create a second virtual camera. And I will again use my storyboard to see how I should do my second shot. No, actually, up, third one. So let's move to the third shot here. So it's very explicit, as you can see. So what I want to do is to see Adam and see the character on the back. And globally, the way I want my cameraman to behave is to follow Adam and look at his head and do a composition of the shot where I can both see the cult leader and Adam. So I just need to tell that to my cameraman. So who do you want to follow? I'm here for people who get lost with this. So who do you want to follow? I just want to follow Adam. Okay. And if we go back there, we will see that the camera is here. And if I let's make this shot a bit shorter. If I go there, we will see that the camera is following Adam. It's nice. It's a very nice cameraman, but it's not what I wanted. I don't want to follow Adam from the back, but I want to follow Adam from the front. So 2 meters in front. And then my cameraman is also not very intelligent because he follows it, but he doesn't look at him. So I have to tell him who to look at. So I want to look at Adam's head. So sorry, I will just fade this out. Oops. So I just want to follow Adam's head, and as we can see on this shot, my cameraman is actually very, very small, so I should tell him to grow. And I just offset that. Okay, it's good, but then my framing is not perfect, so in Cinemachine you can normally, yeah, you can, oh, you cannot, strange. Okay. Ah. Okay. So normally you can do this on the viewport, but I would do this here instead. Oh yeah, because I didn't select it. Sorry. Yeah. No. Okay. Good to know. So I would select this so that I just reframe this to be like that. So now I have this shot where I'm following him, and this shot where I'm looking at Adam. So now I will translate back and try to catch up the second camera. So in timeline you can animate anything you want. So here I'm gonna animate the first camera, the first virtual camera. So drag and drop, create a virtual camera, and then I would just press the record button and choose the first camera. I really like the position I set up initially, so I would just add a key here. And then let's go on top and see how it's going. So I found out that if you want to catch Adam, so we see Adam is moving there. If we want to catch Adam, we need to go as fast as Adam, but we need actually to go twice as fast because we will have to go down at the same time. So if we don't want an acceleration of the middle, we need to go twice as fast. So we see that at the end of my shot about here, Adam is around here. So what I will do is I will just add I will just add a new keyframe for the virtual camera a bit further away. So now I have my camera zooming out, and I have the next shot. Now I just need to transition from one to another, and Cinemachine is also really nice for this, because all I need to do is just to blend the two cameras here, and now I have this, and then it's moving down to this one. It's pretty nice. Okay, maybe. Okay, let's say it's acceptable for now. Can maybe do this for a bit longer. Okay. So it's cool. It's kind of matching what I wanted to have here. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of alright. Yeah. Okay. Let's say it's okay. It's a live demo. And on the first one, okay. So first shot, second shot, and the third shot is actually like this kind of shot where you start from the side. You go in front of him, and then you go up in the sky to see the final things. So typical dolly track shot in the movie world. And again, Cinemachine, you go on the menu, and you create a dolly track, a dolly camera with a track. So it will create this camera here. And I will just drag and drop the virtual camera here, and it will create the last shot. Okay. Okay, we're good. So now, let's look at this dolly track. Okay, it's a bit high up there. Again, we need to tell our cameraman what to look at. We want the cameraman on the dolly to look at as Adam's head. And now we can start moving the origin of the dolly track. We're like, oh yeah, it would be pretty nice to have it around here. Yeah, maybe here. Okay, it's pretty nice. And then I will create my my waypoints. So I create the first one here. Okay. Then I create the second one, which is going in front of Adam. And then I create a third one, which will be further away. I don't know where, somewhere like this. Okay. So I have done my dolly track, and now I need to have my camera like going on this dolly track. So to do this, I will, again, keyframe. That's the only thing that I want to keyframe is maybe the speed at which we go on the dolly and how much you pump to put the cameraman in the air. So I just drag and drop again the virtual camera 3. I create an animation track. I press the record button. And I will say that at the beginning, we have something called past position here. I would say that at the beginning, we are at the beginning. Makes sense. And at the end, oh, actually, I forgot to make, let's not forget to make Adam dancing. I forgot that. Okay, let's add it here. So this mocap dance comes from the CMU University. And one of our engineers imported them so that it's retargetable. And if we look there and just let's look, we have, again, I need to match the offset with the previous one, but now he's here and he's dancing. Okay, cool. So now I will have this dolly track going until he stops dancing. I will again enter the record mode and go here at the end of the track. And I know that I added the 0, like the first point, the second point, the third point. So it's actually the index 2. So at the beginning, I'm at 0, and at the end, I'm here. Okay, nice. So now I have this thing, and now I start working on the choreography, on the photography of this shot. So again, I can keyframe anything. So let's go to the first shot. So this thing is, oh, okay, now it's working. So this framing, I prefer this kind of framing probably to relate to the previous shot where we had the cult leader in. Then I know that here, for example, I would really like, if we look again at the storyboard, when we go in front, I want to have again the guy in the back. So, okay, here, I want to have this kind of shot. Maybe I will change the field of view a bit so that we can see him. So it will just adapt the field of view. Whoops. Okay, actually I prefer this field of view from the beginning. Here it's good. Maybe I want to be a bit lower on this shot. So I will just go down a bit and rework the shot. Yeah, that's better. And then at the end, so I want to stay kind of at this height. But here, I don't like that. I don't see the prophet there. Okay, it's good. And I want to keep this offset the way it is. I add a key. And then all I want is that to finish at the end very high, like this. And maybe I'm not far enough, you know, so I will just select my dolly track again and just push the last track so that we can really see everything. Okay, it's pretty cool. I'm there. That's a nice shot. I think this is impossible to do in any other way, you know, like this kind of tricky shot. And it's not set up. You know, if somebody says that I want to have the animation sooner or that I want a new framing, you can iterate like in 2 minutes. So we are about 30 minutes into the talk. And we've done the camera, the animation, the layout. What should we do now? Let me think. I'm lost. I think, yeah. OK, let's do one thing. So I promised to have kind of good looking, and it's kind of good looking. But we're missing the last step of rendering, as that I will put now, which is compositing. So, you know, like we don't have bloom, we don't have all this stuff here. Actually, I think we are missing a bit of light. It's too dark, so I will just turn on the light again so we see it better. OK, that's good. So let's go to a shot where we can see what we do. So for compositing, it's quite easy. You take the camera, and then you had the post-processing layer, which is here. You just need to specify, like, it's just for optimization questions when you use it at real time. It will just specify that all the arrays that it traced so that it can do compositing volumetric will be using this layer, implementation detail. So now I have temporal anti-aliasing here, which should help on the specular aliasing that we had at the beginning. And then I will just add a post-processing volume, which will define what will be in post. So for this, I create a profile, which is here. Again here. And I will create just a post-processing profile. So it's going to be my foundation post. So I take it here and drag my foundation post here at the bottom, here. So what I will add, I will just add every effects one after each other. Ambient occlusion. So if you see on the back, you see that it just put some kind of ambient occlusion, which is computed screen space. So I just put a bit less of it. So it gives, the objects, they are a bit more grounded after that. I will add some bloom. And we are in the music video, let's not forget that. So let's put a lot of bloom so that we have a Michael Jackson effect. OK, that's good. And we can have some lens dirt, which is actually in the post-processing package. So I will just find it here. No, not here. Here. So these are the packages that we imported with the package manager. And I need to find post-processing here. Post-processing and textures. Going back to my main camera. Lens dirt. Whoops. OK, and I just take a lens dirt here. Because again, we're in the music video, so lenses are very dirty in music videos. If we push it very strong, you can see that it just brings this kind of flair to it. Let's be kind of reasonable, or not even. 60, OK, that's good. Let's add now color grading, which is very important. So we're probably one of the only engine currently who is doing color grading in HDR. So usually you do tone mapping, which is going from HDR to LDR, and then you do color grading. But the problem is, like, when you do your color grading, you're in a small range of colors, and then you saturate your images very quickly. So we do it in HDR, and then we do the tone mapping using ACES, which is a standard in the film industry. So here we are. We will just change a bit the exposure. Okay, that's pretty nice. I will change the temperature so that it's a bit colder or warmer. Colder? Okay, colder. I will diminish a bit the contrast. And I will saturate the color because we're in the music video. Maybe it's too cold now. Okay. So, color grading. I could have also decided that I want one color to be a bit stronger than another one. So, I could have done this and kind of push the orange to change it, you know, like you do in a compositing software. But I won't. And then let's continue. We will add some grain, just a bit to simulate the film things. We will add quickly no lens distortion here, motion blur. Let's turn it on. And let's add a vignette. Even if in this case, because the environment is black, it won't change much, but let's add this to smooth the borders. Okay, so I'm done with compositing. It took about 2 minutes. And now let's work on the compositing per shot. So for the first camera here, what I like is to have a small depth of field so that the character is a bit blurry on the back. So I will add the extension of Cinemachine for that, so post-processing extension. And again, I will just create one post-processing dedicated to that. So, okay, and it's going to be my my DOF post-processing. So I put it here, and I say that only for this shot, I want this post-processing. I will add depth of field. Here it is. And I will just put a big focal length. And you know now what is tricky is like, because the camera is moving back, I will have to keyframe the focus distance, which is a pain, because if I move again the camera slower or faster, I will have to redo it, so I don't want to do this. So what I will do is I will say, tell my cameraman that actually he should still look at Adam's head. So here is, no, not this guy, the other guy. Not Adam's head, but like this guy's head. So we have him here. And what I say to Cinemachine, because he knows who is going to track, he is able to do the autofocus himself. So I just will track the target, and we have it. Here the joint is in the middle of the head, so maybe I need to offset it a bit so that we actually focus on his face. And you see, like, we have this really nice rendering with the back of his ears, which are actually blurry. And then I will actually use the same for the next shot when I'm done there. So I will just reuse exactly the same. Okay, and I focus on the target, and now I'm here, and I have this nice looking stuff. Okay, really cool. And on this one, it's pretty good. We can stay like this. Okay, so we're done with post. I could have also overexposed a shot or something like this. We are about 40 minutes into the talk. And we have done post. What do we need to do now? What do we need to do? Sorry? Music. Oh, music. Yeah, it's a music video. I forgot about that. It's a good idea. Okay, let's do that. So I will show you something. So, you know, like, we're pretty good with this. Like, it's kind of what the director has done, this timeline. He has placed people, made them work around, deal with camera. And for the music, somehow, I want to start already thinking about the fact that maybe the music will start earlier than actually I start my movie. So we have something new in 2018.2, that's why I'm using it, which is called a nested, not prefabs, but I'm afraid there is something falling from the sky if I say that. But it's called nested timelines. We nest everything starting from now on. So I create a new timeline, and it's going to be my master sequence. Okay. So again, I drag and drop here, and I will just release this guy here. And what I want here is first on this master sequence, I will create a control track. And on this control track, I just drag the main sequence I had before, so that I can start controlling it from here. You know. So here I control the track we just created. And you can nest like, and if I double click on it, you go inside of this. I can scrub here in the context of the top sequence. If I go there, you still have the breadcrumb and you can go up. So I will just go here on seconds because I want to leave myself 10 seconds for the credits, for my own fame. Here. And what I'll do is, yeah, you're right. I should do the music now. We're close to the end. So I had this issue when I started to do this talk. I used Kanye West for the hip hop, and then I realized that on YouTube they will kill my video. And I was in this situation where I'm like, okay, should I take a free hip hop asset, which totally are bad usually? Should I write one myself? That I started to do, and it was even worse. And I had this idea that, like on the Adam movies, you have this Chopin song, which is free of rights. So I say, let's use it. So I will just place it so that it starts a bit before the beginning, and let's see how it goes. So until now, it's good. And then that was my problem, because it didn't really match. So that's where I like in the plane going to Austin at the time. I had this fantastic idea that there are free hip-hop loops. So I just took one here, which sounds like this. And because we render the audio, I was like, oh, actually we have an editing, like an audio editing software. So I can just zoom here and look at where this node is starting. And I know that I wanted the hip-hop loop to arrive just onto this dum-dum. Okay, so I just go here and I take this loop and bring it here. Okay, and let's see how it goes. It's better. So now it's just like animation. If you scale it, it will just play. So I would just loop it and it's good. And then after that it was a bit boring, so I just took some samples from Adam's movie. So I just recorded some of them. Like there's this one which sounds really like hip hop. It's like this. Consortium. Yeah. Criminal code. Consortium criminal code. Okay. And in hip hop, the rule to make a hit is to do it twice. Okay. That's good. And then I put, I will always choose life. That's a good one here. And then I want to finish with something which elevates me at the end. So I put a drone sound. And I will finish with that. And because I'm out of time, I will trust my mixing talents. So I can also ease in and ease out so that it doesn't come suddenly, like this. Okay, and I will finish with this. And the goal is that I finish the drone sound when he's coming back here. So I'm just here, and I actually finish the drone sound here. Okay, maybe in the middle of it. Okay. Okay, so we're good with the audio. We have a few minutes left. Audio. Okay, let's try to do VFX, just a bit of VFX. I love this one. So, because it's not a very impressive video if you don't have fireworks or stuff like that. So let's, I took again, we have something on the asset store called Particles Pack. I will have a slide about it. Particles something, examples. And there is one which is a flamethrower. That's a good point of music video. You don't ask yourself too much questions. So I would just put one here, and I just put one here. And what I want, again, is to do a choreography for that. So I just want the flame to come when the drone sound is coming. So, and actually, I want the drone sound to start when I start getting up there. Here. It's a bit better. So, and now what is pretty cool too is like I can be sure that the particles, they are right in the frame. So I will just, again, add some control tracks. Add, and just drag and drop the flames here. Okay. Pretty nice. Here. Okay. And I will drag the other one. Which one did I take? Yeah. Another control track here for the second flame. And I will drag it exactly the same place. Okay, so now I have the drone sound coming, and it's going to be fire. Woo! So, we're almost done. We need the titles, right? So we have not much left. I started late, so I take myself some time. So let's do the titles. So the problem when you have a sequencer in a game engine is that, in the contrary of making something flat, you don't know how the title is going to be. You know, maybe the titles are 3D, maybe there are something. So, and that was a key question when we did timeline. We were like, what do we provide exactly with timeline? And we ended up finding that it would be impossible to provide everything that people need. So we made timeline, and probably you saw the talk before. We made it customizable, so you can create your own clip, your own playables that you can put on timeline. And this is the way you can do the titles. And we made examples for this that you can find on the asset store, so that you can have an idea of how to create your own playables if you want to modify the text and not do it the way we do. So to do that, so once you bring this asset from the store, you have these new tracks which appear, and I want to have a screen fader track. And to do this, we're going to use our UI system. I will just create an image, and this image, this UI image, I put it full screen. I will put it black, and I put it transparent. And then I just drag this image on the image, and then I create a shot. And now, while I'm on this shot, the scene will be black. You know, and then it's not black when I'm outside. Okay, so if I want to do a fade to black, it's pretty nice. I just duplicate this one, and I put it at the beginning of the sequence up there to be sure that I never show something which is not here. And I just change the color of this second clip, and I put it to transparent, and I have a nice fade to black. Okay, okay, pretty nice. Maybe a bit long, so I will reduce this one. Yeah. Okay, and now I just the opposite on the other direction, okay, when it's black, and then I just fade out, okay? Now, I will add some title. It's the same technique. So I go to the UI, like here, if I add the control track, I have a text switcher track, which is here, and it waits for UI text also. So I just add the text. Again, a bit more work. I do it full screen. I do it a bit bigger. I center it on the screen. I will use the Unity font here, and I make it white. And because I don't want to see it when I don't want to see it, I make it transparent, and I put no text inside of it. Okay, it's done. To that. This is something you just set up once. And now, if I go there, let's focus on this one. Okay. If I go there and I'm on top of this, I can type my text, like Unity Technologies presents. A bit bigger. Okay. And here, I would duplicate that. Okay. Unite Berlin film. Okay, great. And I would just add my credit at the end. So I duplicate this. Up. It's probably around here. And I would say a film by. That's my glory moment. The F key if you want to follow with me on Twitter. Okay. And a film by the F key. Okay, that's good. So we're done with it. We will just cut the sound here because we don't need to. Sorry? Oh, did I? A film by the F key. Oh. Okay. Oh, Berlin. Oh, wow. Berlin. Das ist schön. Wie das? Okay, thank you for that. It's nice to see that one person follow my talk. Thank you. So it's done, right? Now I'm almost done. So yeah, we have a choice because I started 14 minutes late, so I can do one more thing if you want to. If you agree to, who wants to stay a bit? It's okay. Okay, who wants to stay? Oh, that's cool, thank you. I just wanted to show it because I brought it in the plane. I just wanted one thing, like it felt a bit too dead, the guy on the back. So I just wanted him to animate him turning the head while the camera is moving back, right? Keijiro, which is our field engineer in Japan, he did this thing called Clack, and it's open source, and you can drop it on Unity, where you can plug a controller, MIDI controller into Unity, and then you have visual scripting to assign it. So I would just do this very quickly, hopefully. You sign up for 1 hour more, that's right? No. So, and it's pretty easy. Yeah, let's forget about the names. You just add the patch component here, and you open the patcher. And then it's pretty easy. I want an input MIDI, I want a knob. It's going to be the first one. I want this value of the knob to be converted into an axis rotation. And I want the output to be actually a rotation, right? And this rotation, I want this to control the head of the character. And the property will be the local rotation. So I just connect things, the angle, and the rotation, right? Gets done. And now what I need to do is to record that, right? Let me first press play, because it crashed once today when I tried. Yes. So now I can, hopefully, I can turn the head of the guy like this with my knob. Whoops. So it's not very impressive, but you could imagine with sometimes you can. Whoa. So now it's fun to do this, but actually I want to perform, right? So we have a frame recorder in Unity which is quite new, and which most people know about the fact that it can record a movie that I will do in a few minutes. But it can also record any parameter in the engine. So we just had a recorder. So where is the recorder track? Here. And I will just add the recorder clip. Okay. And I will put it at the beginning of the sequence. Maybe shorter, because I don't need so much. And what I want to record here is not a video, but an animation clip. I want to record again the head joint, because that's what I'm modifying. And I don't want this to be recursive now, because I don't need it. Okay? Okay, so let's go. Let's perform. Is it good? Did I save it? Did it crash? No. Okay, let's see. So I have my movie. I love the credits. And it's a bit long, these credits. Okay. It's more perfect. Okay. Let's finish the recording in case. Okay, so now I can just remove that, and here, if we go here, I have the recording of it. So all I need to do is find the head joint of the guy here, drop it here, create an animation track, and just drag this recording here. Okay, and now if I go back, he's moving his head. Okay, so now I'm good. I'm done with the talk. Actually, no. Okay, 1 more minute. It's just very quick, but it's something which usually takes time. Let's add some volumetric fog, which is also built in the HDRP. It will be not long. You just add the component volumetric fog, and you just change the fact that the fog is volumetric. And then we will make something like 50 or maybe 80, right? And we will make it a bit anisotropic so that we have the shadows in the fog. Okay, it's done. And now I will just add one more thing, which is, and I swear it's the last one, which is a recorder track to actually record the movie while we take questions, if you want to. Okay, so I will record the game view, and it will be called UNAT Berlin with a E. Yeah. Okay, so should be okay now. So I'm going to hit play, and it will just record. It will take about the time to write all the frames on disk. Ah, of course. Okay, I will do it again. Oh, no. Okay, we try again, right? And then it's like it's our thing these days to always try our demos. Okay, so just in the meantime, so you can, like, all this there's nothing you cannot use. Let's load Unite Berlin. I think it didn't like the E. Maybe. Okay, let's try one more time. Master sequence. Did I save? Yeah. Huh? Oh, what? Okay, let's try. Cross fingers. Yes. Yes. Okay, so let's roll it. So yeah, you can get all the assets that I talk about. It's a bit small, but we will probably make a page in the coming days with all these references. So basically, Adam pack, Adam episode 1 pack, episode 2, 3 packs, the photogrammetry demo that you can get, Polybrush on the store, Cinelight, which is on GitHub, Clack, which is also on GitHub, the particle pack, the default playables, and the recorder. The rest is in all packages, and the recorder will be soon on packages too. So thanks a lot for being here, and I'm very happy it crashed only once. Thanks a lot. If you have just a few questions, sorry for the guys on the technical side. No question. Like, can we have 1 minute? 2 minutes? Okay, you can come up here and ask questions, and in about 2-3 minutes, it's going to be recorded. I can play the video so you can see it. Thanks a lot.